Robin Asbell, I know that you're here because of IACP, the International Association of Culinary Professionals. However, you come to New York other times as well.
Yes, well, any excuse to come to the Big Apple, but I also teach at the Natural Gourmet Institute and the Institute for Culinary Education and have wonderful friends here like you, and so it's just a great place to visit and try wonderful world-class vegan food and just really enjoy all the culture and everything the city has to offer. And of course I have the great honor of being in your book.
Thank you very much. But this is only my second book. You've done 4, I think. And I know I asked you to bring one with you. So would you show it? Because I love the title of this, Big Vegan. So fabulous. How many recipes?
Well, over 350. I kind of lost count at some point. I think there's 370 or something. But it's big, and it was nice to be able to branch out and have things in there beyond just sort of entrees and, so I mean it's breakfast, sauces, pantry staples, barbecue grilling, desserts, everything that I could think of.
It makes it easier for somebody wanting to become vegan, I think, or people needing to cook maybe vegan food for non-vegan family members. Have you found that?
I have, and that was really my intent. My hope was this would be a book that even non-vegans would enjoy, that it would be friendly to them to be trying vegan, maybe some, getting their toe in the water, and something that you could use for a family where maybe there were some vegans, some non-vegans. So I really, really pushed for it to be delicious and appealing, obviously. I mean, you always do.
Perhaps one particular recipe that comes to mind that is great for transition.
Great transition. Well, people are very into, if you've got a thing for pizza or pasta or, something like that, then those are all in there. I find that what's really resonating with people a lot are things like, there's a lovely cashew cheese, or there's a lot of wonderful Asian dishes, sesame noodles, but gosh, it's hard to even pick. I think what people most want to find a food that's something that's familiar to them.
You're also, besides an instructor and a private chef, you also do writing. You have a blog. Could you tell us how to find you on the blog?
Well, everything is at www.robinasbell.com.
Spell your last name.
A-S-B as in boy, E-L-L. And yeah, my blog is there, and all my class schedule and all my events, because yes, it's been great fun. The books have allowed me to travel around the country teaching. I go to Mexico, I go around the country, and it's just so fun meeting people and talking to them about real food.
What is your reception now than previous years, perhaps, in relation to vegan cooking?
I really think that, while there are always certain people who are unwelcoming, but in general I think it's growing, and I think more and more people, especially younger people, it's no big deal. It's just not that big of a deal to eat vegan sometimes, or they know vegans, and it's not such a fringe thing. So I really think it's booming.
You also did a book on grains.
It's the new Whole Grains Cookbook.
What would you share is the biggest glory of reintroducing oneself perhaps to grains and maybe venturing out to others that aren't so common?
The thing about whole grains, and especially ancient grains, is that every single one of them has something that you can't get anywhere else. Some beautiful, amazing, cancer-preventing, antioxidant chemical, as well as all the fiber and the calcium and the protein and the nutrients. And grains are like a magic bullet. They protect you from so many things. And once you get over the white flour thing, which white flour is just a complete waste, and get into, again, cooking these beautiful grains and eating whole grain things, you just won't be satisfied by white food anymore.
Now, I know that a lot of attention is being paid to quinoa right now, which of course it has all the amino acids, and it's the perfect, it's really like eating a steak without all the bad stuff as far as nutrition is concerned. But what are some grains that you have felt that have been overlooked and should really have their time in the spotlight?
A little more, recently people have been getting very excited about farro because it's kind of trendy, and Farro because some high-profile Italian chefs are using it. But if you're going to stay in the wheat family, I actually find kamut, K-A-M-U-T, I actually think that's more exciting and delicious. It's bigger, it's buttery tasting, and it's just really, it makes a great flour, makes a great cooked grain, and like I say, it's one of the largest grains that you can get, so if you want something you can pick up with a fork and pops when you chew, I really love that.
Well, no, it comes in flakes also, because I see it, I make it and put it in my granola still. But you're talking about the whole grain.
The whole grain, and I think, people, I love quinoa, but there's also buckwheat, millet, amaranth. I just actually at IACP, I went to a seminar on a new ancient grain named fonio from Senegal, which is tiny. It's tiny, but it's incredibly nutritious. And so a lot of these grains will grow, they'll grow after the environment goes, they'll grow with no water, with terrible, no nutrition in the soil, whereas things like wheat and rice actually are very intensive. They take a lot of energy and water. So learning about ancient grains is probably
going to be... to grow them.
Yes, we need to have them as part of our diets because they're going to be better for the environment, just as veganism is.
I think a lot of people don't buy whole grains because they don't know how to cook them, when actually most of them are cooked in generally the same way.
Oh yes, it's one of those things where it's hard to really mess it up, and you just can boil them or cook them, and you can even cook them sort of pasta style, just boil them until you think they're done. And there's a whole guide to cooking grains in my book, but that information's out there.
I found that if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have instructions and you have a package of grains, maybe you went to Whole Foods or one other store where they have bulk and you decide to get some, usually a rule of thumb is 1 cup to 2 cups of water, isn't it? Unless
Yes.
they're pretty big grains, then it'd be like 1 to 3.
Right, and some of the smaller grains you might start with 1.5 or 1 3/4, if you want them to be nice and firm. And also all of them, you can change the amount of water depending on the texture you want. If you go with the minimum amount of water, you'll have a firmer, more fluffy product, whereas you can cook most of them to a porridge just by adding more water and cooking them longer. So, you can generally, and then the larger things, like I said, the farro or the wheat berries, boiling them in copious amounts of water till they're done is really very appropriate as well. And it's all an adventure. People think, oh, I'm going to do this, it's going to be limiting, and it's actually, you're going to discover new and wonderful flavors and textures, and you'll find something that you love.
And they can be used cold. You can eat them cold or hot. I think a lot of people don't realize that as well.
And they make great salads, and say even just add them to a green salad, or eat them as a marinated salad.
So if you meet someone who's thinking, I would really like to be vegan, but I just don't think I can, how do you tell them to start?
I say to start by look at their meals, and look at what they're going to eat. And figure out, can I just change to soy milk with my breakfast cereal, and can I move to a different sandwich, instead of cheese, would I like hummus? And those are sort of entry-level things. I really like having things prepared for myself, and I think that's key, is that you're going to fall into eating convenience food unless you're set up. So go to the store, stock up on all the vegan foods that you like, prepare yourself some food in advance, like I say, things like the hummus or the cashew cheese, or soups and things like that, so that it's easy to just come in and eat your food and not have to fall into ordering pizza or whatever it was you did before.
Mm-hmm. And of course dairy gets to be the other issue. Oh, I could never give up cheese. What do you say to them?
That is usually for vegetarians, that's the last vestige. And I would say, again, when you learn how to make other creamy things, and I think that's a key thing, is if you're a person who misses that, then you want to eat things like nut butters, avocados, making the nut cheeses and spreads and dips, and find other ways to gratify that creamy, make the creamy, the non-dairy white sauce to put on your pizza. And using the non-dairy milks have gotten so good, and there's so many out there, the coconut and the almond, and so it's really such a mental shift.
And it lasts a long time. That's the other thing that I think most people find surprising, that these are not animal products. And when you think of tempeh and tofu and all these, they really do last longer in the refrigerator than regular milks or regular products that are animal-based. That it's a surprise for them to realize, oh, that's right, nothing is decaying, if I may be so blunt.
Well, it's so easy to keep the boxes, as you can have the pantry with the boxes of the milk ready to go. You don't have to run to the grocery store.
That's right.
And buy them. And just like the aseptic tofu and all that, and canned beans, you can have yourself backed up so that you don't have to.
Yeah, because they don't even have to be in the refrigerator until they're opened. They come in boxes. How do you see the future?
I want eating a vegan meal to be completely a normal and unremarkable thing that omnivores do. I would like, it's not, I've been doing this so long, I realize I'm probably in my lifetime not going to see everybody give up meat. I know for sure, but I would like to see this become so mainstream and so normal and so unremarkable that when you sit down at a restaurant or at someone's home and they're serving something that has no animal products, it's just a normal thing and everyone enjoys it and no one has any question about it.
Right. Robin, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Linda. It's so nice. So nice to be here.